a trip to Disney World can be confusing, overwhelming, and expensive, so how can you make the most of your time when you're here? Well, by watching this video. Today, I'm going to give you the ultimate must-have tips when visiting Disney's Hollywood Studios. After today, you're going to feel like an expert when it comes to Disney's Hollywood Studios. That is the fry bucket promise. Alright, my very first tip for this video is very important if you're getting here at Rope Drop, if you're trying to maximize your day with all of those rides here in Hollywood Studios. My first tip of the day is to go left. And I'm not talking about after you get into the park. I'm talking about before you even get into the park. So I am not here at Rope Drop at the beginning of this video, kind of taking a more leisurely day. But in the mornings when you do get to Hollywood Studios for Rope Drop, I'm talking about before the park is opening. You will be in line with other guests outside, right underneath the words Disney's Hollywood Studios out here at the park entrance. They will hold off these lines for early entry, which is a perk of Disney Resort guests. But when it is finally time for the park to open to all guests, everybody's gonna be standing over here, and then eventually they will move the line to the left to then let people go into the park. And so for that case, you wanna be on the left side of the park because you'll be closer to the front. So I know this is hard to explain, it's not making much sense, but when you get here in the mornings, stay on the left side because you'll be closer to the front, you'll get in first, and then you can go get on all those rope drop rides, specifically Rise of the Resistance most likely. The AllEars cast loves to get their coffee in the morning, specifically Joffre's when we are in the Disney theme parks. It is our favorite, we just love it. Most of the time Joffre's is going to be a less of a wait than the Starbucks lines, and our favorite Joffre's, or the one that we would recommend here in Hollywood Studios, is when you exit Tower of Terror. As soon as you exit the ride coming out of the gift shop, there is a Joffre's right outside. This one is more hidden, tucked away. People don't know that it's back here unless you are getting off the ride. So you don't have to ride the ride to come get Joffre's, but just know that the walk all the way back here is worth it because it is prime coffee hour right now and there's no one in this line. Come to this Joffre's back here because there's no wait. And of course, after you've gotten your coffee, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So what are you gonna eat for breakfast in Hollywood Studios? Well, this might surprise you, but the best breakfast in Hollywood Studios, besides the Ronto Wrap, is actually Hollywood Scoops. And no, it's not ice cream. Here at Hollywood Scoops, you can get the waffle platter. For under $10, it's $9.49. You get Mickey-shaped waffles with blueberries and whipped cream. The blueberries are inside the Mickey waffles. This is a great breakfast just in it of itself, and it's quick service. It's never talked about enough. I'm trying to shout it from the rooftops. Come get blueberry Mickey waffles here at Hollywood Scoops for your breakfast at Hollywood Studios. Now I will say this is a breakfast that you need to sit down. It's not a grab and go. It's not something you can eat easily on your way to Rope Drop, Rise of the Resistance. So if you're going for a slower morning in Hollywood Studios, I highly recommend come get these waffles. They're delicious, they're Mickey shaped, they have blueberries in them. Nowhere else in Disney World can you get Mickey waffles with fruit. I mean, fruit inside. You can get strawberries in Magic Kingdom, but that's not what I'm talking about. Come get the waffle platter. It's so good. We do recommend Genie Plus for Hollywood Studios. There's so many popular attractions here with pretty heavy wait times, and in order to do everything, rides, shows, meeting characters, eating, all of the above, we do recommend Disney's Genie Plus, which is the skip the line service here. Now I won't be talking about Genie Plus in this video specifically, but we have so many resources here on our YouTube channel and online at AllEars.net. So if you're curious, confused, any sort of questions about Disney Genie Plus, go check them out. We have all the resources for you. Now there are various single rider lines around Disney World where you can skip the line, and it gives you a much quicker wait for some of your favorite attractions. However, I will say there's one in Hollywood Studios that I would tell you to never ride single rider, and that is Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster is the roller coaster here in Hollywood Studios, themed to Aerosmith. You are headed to one of their concerts, you get backstage passes, super great ride, love this attraction. However, I will say every time I have tried the single rider line, it has been a significantly longer than the regular standby wait. Now, I know Breedlove has tried it before and it worked out in his favor. I think Sage would also disagree with me on this statement, but every time I have tried it, in my personal opinion, and you have all seen that on the channel many times before, it is so much longer than the regular standby. Single rider for this ride is not great, would not recommend it to anyone. Just do the regular standby wait, or if you bought Genie Plus for the day, use this as a Genie Plus lightning lane. Now, Fantasmic is the big nighttime show here in Hollywood Studios, and it is great, it is fantastic. You absolutely must see it every time you come to Hollywood Studios. Not just my opinion. Many people agree with me, but sometimes on rare occasion there are two shows each night for Fantasmic. And if you are here, go to the second show. It will be way less crowded. Now again, it doesn't always happen, but on the off chance that there is 2 different shows for Fantasmic in one day, go to the second one if you're able to. It's going to be way less crowded. Now I understand if you've got little kiddos that need to go back to the resort and go to sleep, then you may want to go to the first show. But again, like here today, there's a showing at 7:30 and a showing at 9 p.m. So if you're able to, go to the second show. It's going to be way less crowded. Now when it comes to eating, good seating is few and far between here in Hollywood Studios. For example, you've got Toy Story Land that doesn't have any ounce of shade whatsoever. So it's important to know where the good seating is in Hollywood Studios. Right now I'm currently on Sunset Boulevard over by Fairfax Fair and Rosie's All-American Cafe. But I do want to show you that you need to keep walking to find the good seating. So over here by Fairfax Fair, if you come over to the back, there's plenty of seating here. It's usually pretty crowded. This is average, but you can keep coming all the way in the back. Sometimes there's nobody back here, depending on the time of day. Emma and I were here not too long ago, and not a single soul in sight. But if you even come all the way to the very back, you've got umbrellas and shaded seating. So if you can't find any right off the bat, just keep looking. I promise there's tons of seating back here. You will find stuff. Your time is very important at Disney World and you want to spend it wisely. So my next tip is you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, show and snack at the same time, as long as it's an outdoor theater. Any of the outdoor theaters, you can bring snacks, you can bring drinks. I wouldn't encourage you to bring, like a whole picnic of some sorts, but if you grab a snack and want to hit up a show like Indiana Jones or Beauty and the Beast live on stage, anything that is outdoors, you can still eat and drink in the theater while you're watching the show. And honestly, it makes for a better experience. Not only that, but the show's nighttime spectacular, Fantasmic, they have even more food stands back there in the theater. So if you really want to get a snack, just keep that in mind. You're going to want to get there ahead of time to make sure you have enough time to grab food before you sit down for the show. But a lot of the times what we've done, we'll get something from Fairfax Fair and then take it into Fantasmic and eat your dinner before the show starts. Now, the shows here at Hollywood Studios are pretty much just as popular as some of the rides, so it's very important that you get there ahead of time to find a good seat. Of course, like always, keep the My Disney Experience app loaded and keep checking those wait times for rides, but also check the show times for some of your favorite shows. If you've got one that you really want to watch, you need to make it a priority and make sure you don't miss it, because the shows don't go all day. So if you want to see the Frozen show or Indiana Jones or Beauty and the Beast, just keep checking those wait times with your rides, and then be sure to substitute in a show every now and then just so you don't miss it, because they are really great. Love some of these shows. Some of them are my absolute favorite Disney memories, and I don't want you to miss it thinking you have time later in the day to check out the shows when they might be closing sooner than you think. We always recommend at least 15 to 30 minutes ahead of time going to grab a seat at a show, and specifically the Frozen show, you're going to need a little bit more because that one is very, very popular. So if you want to see Frozen, 30 minutes at least ahead of time to make sure you get into the show.
Next up, let's talk about some characters. I, for one, love meeting characters in the parks. That's some of my favorite things to do in Disney World, and I know some of you out there feel the same way. Hollywood Studios has so many characters around, and honestly, there's some pretty cool meet and greets here. Now, some are appearances where you just see them at a distance and can snap a selfie, and then some are actual meet and greet lines. So just depending on who you're seeing, it could be a different experience, but there are so many cool characters here. You can meet Ariel from the live action Ariel. You've got BB-8 and Chewbacca. You can see Chip and Dale, Darth Vader. If you've got a little one who loves all the Disney Junior shows right now, there's Doc McStuffins and Fancy Nancy. You can meet the Incredibles, Goofy or Max, a bunch of Toy Story characters, and of course all the characters in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, like Kylo Ren, the Mandalorian, Mickey and Minnie. The list goes on and on. Hollywood Studios has a lot when it comes to characters, and you should not skip them because that's part of the fun. And speaking of characters, there's one character meet and greet that will help you save time during your Hollywood Studios day. So if you go over to the Red Carpet Theater, which the entrance is on ABC Commissary, right across from Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, you will find Red Carpet Dreams, and this is where you can meet Minnie and Mickey at the same time. Now, they're not together, they are in 2 separate rooms, but it's just one line to meet the both of them. So if you want to meet Mickey and Minnie, this is a great place to do that because it's only one line and you get to meet both of them. So only one wait.
Now, when it comes to Disney dining, of course, those table service reservations are sometimes hard to snag 60 days out before your trip. So don't worry, don't fret. If you don't get it, there are ways around it. For example, the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant here in Hollywood Studios, if you don't necessarily want to sit down, there's a way around it, and that is the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. So let's talk about how to get in. The Hollywood Brown Derby is a very popular quick service restaurant, but there is a lounge outside the restaurant that's always open for guests to walk up and just see if you can get on the walk-up wait list. You can also do this in the My Disney Experience app. Check it out, see if you can put yourself on the virtual wait list. Sometimes it will say that it has filled up for the day, but however, that's not always the case. You can always come by in person to see if there's actually room. More likely than not, they can squeeze you in, so highly encourage you to come walk up and check it out. You can also walk up to the bar, grab a drink, and head out. But if you do want to sit at the lounge, I would come up, be super nice to the cast members. Like I always say with any sort of walk-up reservation, check it on the app first, but also check it in person, because sometimes the app isn't always true. Anytime we try to come to Hollywood Brown Derby in a video, we always get in. Now, not necessarily right away. Sometimes we do put our name on the list. They'll write down your phone number, send you a text when your table is ready, go ride some rides while you're waiting on your Brown Derby reservation, and then by the time you come back, you're ready to go. Next up, let's talk about one of the newest rides here in Hollywood Studios, and that is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is the ride in the Chinese theater, the first ride to ever star Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's very cute, very fun. Highly recommend it. Should be a must-do on your next Hollywood Studios day. However, right now it's currently at a 70-minute wait and it's 3:15 in the afternoon. So I would not recommend coming when this line is super long, because this ride always tends to go down later in the evening. So doesn't matter what time of day you ride it, it's indoors. So I would recommend waiting on this one towards the end of the night. It'll be a much shorter wait.
If you're walking towards Star Wars and the standby wait says more than 10 minutes, get out of that line. I promise this ride will go down later on in the day. Go do something else, go watch a show, and then come back when it's 10 minutes or less. Also exciting news for Star Wars fans. It has been confirmed that new scenes are coming to Star Tours very, very soon with new characters, including Ahsoka Tano. So this is very exciting. May become more popular soon once those new scenes hit. But for right now, if it's 10-minute or wait, you're good to go. Anything more than that, honestly, skip it.
Now this next tip is more important in the summer months because you're trying to escape the Orlando heat. Although I will say it is November and it is 80 degrees right now. But the important tip in Hollywood Studios is to know where to escape the crowds, where to escape the heat, and that is in Walt Disney Presents or Star Wars Launch Bay. Walt Disney Presents and Star Wars Launch Bay are both great places to grab some AC, get away from the crowds, and just take a break for a minute. Walt Disney One Man's Dream is basically a museum all about Walt Disney and his life and how he got to the point of creating Disneyland and ultimately the Disney empire we now know and love. There are actual historic artifacts in this building, so they have to keep the temperature at a specific degree so that they are well preserved. So out of anywhere in Disney World, this is the coolest place in Disney World, pun intended, because of that fact. And then with Star Wars Launch Bay, also kind of a museum in there. They've got some film props, they've got character meet and greets back there. Honestly, a lot of outlets that you can charge your phone. So just in general, those two spots here in Hollywood Studios are great places to just take a break, get off your feet, sit down, recharge yourself, recharge your devices, and just take a break. Now it's time to talk about the most popular ride in Toy Story Land, and that is Slinky Dog Dash. Very popular ride, pretty cute, not super thrilling, but it's more of a roller coaster catered towards kids. But my tip for this, don't ride Slinky Dog Dash during the day, ride it at night. Now this tip is for more of these summer months when it's just so unbearably hot in the middle of the day. You don't want to wait 2 hours for Slinky Dog Dash. That would be crazy. Don't do it. Of course, if you have Genie Plus, use this for your lightning lane. After the sun goes down, it's so much cooler here in Florida. It'll be a little bit more bearable to stand in a long wait for Slinky Dog Dash. Plus, this land really comes alive at night with all of the string lights all around, and it's super cute. And I think it's a better experience riding at night.
The biggest tip I have for you is to refill your water bottle before you hop in that line. Even if it's in the winter, summer, whenever, it's probably going to be a long line. If you're in the standby, refill your water, stay hydrated. The sun is just going to be shining so bright on you. You will be sweating. Refill everyone's water bottle before you hop in that line. Stay hydrated in Disney World, please. That is the biggest tip I can give you for the summer. Stay hydrated.
All right, I've done my research for this video, and this is the tip that is about to give it all away. I've gathered all of the intel, and I'm gonna reveal ways to get extra points on Toy Story Mania. Toy Story Mania is the shooting attraction here in Toy Story Land. It's super fun. It's like carnival games. Each round is different, and it's a lot of fun, and it gets very competitive if your family is like the AllEars cast. It gets very competitive. But here are the ultimate tips on how to score extra points.
Round 1. In the top corner, look for the barn. Hit the horse, chicken, and mouse that will be running around the barn, and it will flip over, causing all the points on all the other animals to go up. Round 2. Pop all 3 500-point lava balloons on the front of the volcano. A comet will appear in the top corner of each screen. You and your partner both need to hit the comets 3 times to unlock an explosion of 500-point balloons. Round 3. Periodically, 2 2,000-point plates will be tossed up on either side of the mountain. You and your partner need to each break the plate on your side during the same toss to unlock a giant tank with high-scoring plates. Round 4. Work together to ring all of the aliens into center ship at the same time. Once you get them all, a giant robot will appear who gives you points by getting rings into his mouth. Once he closes his mouth, you and your partner must toss a ring over the rockets on each side of the screen to reactivate them. Points in the robot's mouth will increase each time you do. Round 5. When you hit one of the main bullseyes, it will open more bullseyes. Work with your partner to open a bullseye, then close the same one. Each time you do, points will go up across the board. Bonus round. Hit each mine car, but don't miss the bats that fall from the top of the screen. They make the mine cars worth more points. You can find all of this info on AllEars.net.
Next, we're going to talk about the very popular quick service location here in Toy Story Land, which is Woody's Lunchbox. Now, this is one of my personal favorites. I'm not biased at all. I just happen to work there, and now I love it. Anyways, my tip for this is if you want to eat at Woody's Lunchbox, especially in those peak summer months, but also just any day in general, mobile order for Woody's Lunchbox way ahead of time. Woody's Lunchbox is very popular, and sometimes on peak crowded summer days, they don't even have walk-ups. It'll get full, so you need to mobile order. But mobile order can also fill up far in advance as well. So if it's a very crowded day, if you know you for sure want Woody's Lunchbox, go into the app, mobile order hours ahead of time. It'll be okay because you select your mobile order pickup time, and you can select for so much later in the day. You can just do this in general. You don't have to do it when it's super crowded. So just plan out your meals, look on the app, see what you want, order it, and then later on in the day, you can come pick it up with a much shorter wait.
Now, while Woody's Lunchbox in Hollywood Studios might never have seating, there is one restaurant in Hollywood Studios that I can guarantee you will always have extra seating, and it's indoors, and that is Pizza Rizzo's. Now, I don't recommend this restaurant for the food necessarily, unless you want a really just piece of greasy pizza. It's not even that good pizza, I'm sorry, but that's not the tip. The tip is that there's always extra seating, it is indoors, and it's relatively quiet. With the exception of the wedding room, that's a fun room where if you want your kiddos to burn off some steam, take them to the wedding room. Upstairs on the second floor of Pizza Rizzo's, there's music playing, there's lights, let them dance it out and tire themselves out. But if you want a more quieter experience, you can still go up to the second floor of Pizza Rizzo's, and there's even a nice balcony outside. So if you just need some time to sit down, out of the sun, out of the heat, maybe head over to Pizza Rizzo's.
Now this next tip will hurt me a little bit. It's gonna hurt a little on the inside because I'm gonna tell you not to ride something that I love. Something that is one of my absolute favorites. But I will say, if the Alien Swirling Saucers standby line is over 40 minutes, don't ride it. Alien Swirling Saucers is another attraction here in Toy Story Land. It's super cute, super fun. You get to spin around with the aliens from Toy Story, and I think it's great. It has a great soundtrack. Overall, 10 out of 10 ride, and I know if you ride this ride, you have a lot more fun than you think you will. So just in general, again, no bias here. I am completely unbiased in these opinions, but I will say this ride is not worth 40-minute wait or more. Again, I love this ride. It's not worth more than 30 minutes.
All right, this next tip is for all my POG Juice fans out there. Now, for those who don't know, POG Juice is a very popular Disney World drink. You can find it in a couple places around Disney World, more than likely the Polynesian. You can get it at Ohana. It is a mix of passion fruit, orange, and guava juice, and it's amazing. You can also get it at Tusker House as well. They call it jungle juice there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. POG Juice is great in Disney World, and did you know you can find a POG flavored snack in Hollywood Studios? There is a gelato cart that was recently added this year in front of the Muppet Vision 3D theater, and they have POG flavored gelato there. They have a bunch of different flavors, but POG was one of their first monthly flavors that they came out with, and people loved it so much, so it's stuck around. So if you want POG flavored gelato, go see the Muppets.
Now, this next tip is for any kind of merchandise, but I wanted to talk specifically about the big Star Wars merchandise in regards to droids and lightsabers and all the bigger merchandise items that you can buy in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And that tip is to not buy that merch until it's the end of the night, because otherwise you're gonna have to carry it around with you all day long. And it's possible. You can take your lightsaber on the rides and you can have people hold it and stuff, but it's just kind of a hassle. So buy that big merch at the end of the day where it's one of your last things and then you just leave the park. Plus, if you're buying a lightsaber, you're gonna want pictures at the end of the night when it's dark and they light up. In regards to big merchandise, because Disney unfortunately has not brought back the perk of sending it to your hotel yet. Hopefully they bring that back one day, but right now they don't. So buy your merch at the end of the day. Don't carry it around. Now there is a pretty popular bar / cantina here in Galaxy's Edge, and that is OGs Cantina. Now, highly recommend advanced reservations for OGs if you really want to get in. Get up on the day that you can, 60 days in advance before your trip, and book that reservation. But again, like anything, there is a chance that you could find a day of reservation or walk-up wait list. Sometimes it's harder to snag than other days, but just keep trying. Check the app, check day of reservations, because sometimes they're easier, especially now that Disney has changed cancellation policies for dining reservations in general. It is easier to get a day of reservation, but again, always go up to the front and check with them in person, check about the walk-up wait list, because you never know. But also I'm gonna say this just in case you don't know, OGs, just a bar. It doesn't have any food. It has a couple of snacky items, but honestly, they're not that good. So if you're booking that thinking it's a dining reservation, it's not. It is just a bar, and you have limited time in there. So just in case you don't know, now you do. All right, now it's time to talk about a single rider line that I do love and that I do encourage, and that is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run here in Galaxy's Edge. But I must preface, because if you do single rider for Falcon, you are going to get the engineer position. So in the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, you are piloting the Millennium Falcon. There are 3 different roles you can have: pilot, gunner, or engineer. Engineer is the one in the back. It is the least cool option that you can get on this ride. If you are going single rider, you're going to be put with another group. If you're okay with being split up from your family and okay with more than likely being the engineer, single rider is the way to go.
Now my next tip is going to help you pass the time in line a little bit, because Disney actually offers a free app that you can have on your phone and play games with while you're waiting in line or walking around the parks. So the Play Disney Parks app is an app you can download on your phone. It's completely free. You can turn wait time into playtime with interactive games, trivia, and more. You can celebrate stories of the parks with games and experiences like Slinky Dog Dash, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and more. You can also put your knowledge to the test with Disney trivia and challenge your family and friends to see who knows the most, and you can crown the ultimate Disney adult. The Play Disney Parks app is also great for little ones, so maybe you've got an older kiddo in your family who's going to ride Tower of Terror with one of the adults in the family, and the little brother or sister staying behind gets really sad because they want to ride it with their big brother or whoever. So let the little one run around with the Play Disney Parks app and let them have their own fun while big sibling goes and rides all the big thrilling rides. They'll find new things about Disney World. And on top of that, within the same realm of category, if you do have a Magic Band Plus, you can play the Star Wars Batuu Bounty Hunters game. Now this is an exciting new quest that allows you to become a bounty hunter in a galaxy far, far away. With the power of your Magic Band Plus, you can locate the targets you've been assigned throughout Blackspire Outpost in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and see them virtually using the Play Disney Parks app. So for this, you do have to have the Play Disney Parks app, but also a Magic Band Plus, which are a little bit more expensive than the regular Magic Bands. When you're near a target, your Magic Band Plus will vibrate and blink green lights. If you move away from your target, the lights on your Magic Band Plus turn red. So when you locate your target, they turn purple, letting you know you've completed the mission.
All right, you knew I was going to talk about it. You knew I was going to bring it up. It would not be a Hollywood Studios video without talking about it. Let's talk about Rise of the Resistance, arguably the most popular ride in all of Disney World. Now, my tip for this ride, Rise of the Resistance, is to not wait until the end of the night to ride it. Now, we talk about it all the time. Technically, as long as you enter a line before the park officially closes, you will be in that line until you ride it. They will not kick you out after the park closes. Now, that is a tricky situation when it comes to Rise of the Resistance, because inevitably it will break down at some point in the day. It's it's down right now. It's not operating. So the best way you can get a guaranteed ride on Rise of the Resistance is early in the morning. The later on in the day, the more chance you're giving yourself for the ride to break down, for some part of the ride to break down. Unfortunately, it's such a technologically heavy ride that if one little thing causes it to break down, it takes a while to get it back up. So just know the risks ahead of time. You can still gamble if you want to, but I would recommend rope dropping this ride or buying the individual lightning lane. That is the best way to guarantee a better experience on this attraction.
Now this next tip is kind of random, and it's not gonna like make or break your Hollywood Studios day, but sometimes it can be inconvenient. So when you're in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and you stop by Doc Andar's Den of Antiquities, which is a merchandise shop there, sometimes that can get very confusing. This is where you're gonna find all of the fancy lightsabers and the hilts and things that I don't even know about, but people love. So a lot of the times there might be a line to get into that store, and then once you get into the store, there's going to be a line to look at the glass case of all of the lightsaber hilts and all of that. So if you're not necessarily interested in buying a lightsaber, just be aware that you might be standing in a line that you don't need to stand in line for. So if you're just trying to get into the shop, just be aware you don't need to get into a second line unless you're actually going to buy something. So that's just something to be aware. If you just want to walk in, look around, don't stand in line forever, because that would be wasting time in Disney World, time where you should be riding rides or eating a Ronto Wrap. Now, if you're like me and love a good Ronto Wrap, I mean, I talk about them all the time, maybe too much, sorry. Or if you've heard me talk about Ronto Wraps and you want to get one on your next Hollywood Studios day, which I highly recommend, no perfect day in Hollywood Studios without a Ronto Wrap, there's important information you need to know. So normally you can get Ronto Wraps at the quick service stand Ronto Roasters out in the market. You see the big pod racer engine, that's where they are. However, now Ronto Roasters closes at 3 p.m. every single day. But don't worry, you can still get Ronto Wraps. You just have to go get your Ronto Wraps inside Docking Bay 7, which is the quick service restaurant. So I know this is the most important tip for you throughout this video. Jokingly. I hope you understand my sarcasm.
I know you will thank me later after this video is done. Where are the best bathrooms in Hollywood Studios? I know you were thinking that because that's what you think about. But I will tell you the best bathrooms in Hollywood Studios are over by Lightning McQueen. Yes, this is very strange, and if you don't have little ones who don't care that much for the movie cars, you may never come back here. But all the way down Sunset Boulevard behind Rock and Roller Coaster, there is Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. It is a cute little show all about Lightning McQueen and teamwork and racing, and it is really super fun. But the important part of this tip is that there are restrooms way back here in the back that are never crowded, and if you need a moment to yourself, come to these bathrooms. Because look, nobody's back here. This is actually a big crowd for these bathrooms. I will say, of course, every 10 minutes or so when the show gets out, there is a little bit of crowds, but if you really need some peace and quiet, come back here and use these bathrooms. Again, you will thank me later. Now let me tell you where the worst ones are, and that is the bathrooms here in Toy Story Land. They are way too crowded. Don't ever use these unless you are in a pinch, which sometimes I understand. You gotta go when you gotta go, but you can avoid it at all. Do not go to the bathrooms in Toy Story Land, just always crowded.
Now, since this is a Hollywood Studios video, I'm going to give you the best tip when it comes to escaping the crowds. And this might surprise you, but that's to leave in the middle of the day to go to the Riviera Resort and grab yourself a cup of coffee. I know that sounds insane, but at Le Petit Cafe at the Riviera Resort, this is the best coffee on Disney World property. I'm not joking. Our entire team thinks this every single time we are in Hollywood Studios or Epcot. We leave to go get coffee and then come back. I can't explain it. The coffee there is amazing. Please go check it out. We keep spreading this news so much that every time we go, we run into some viewers and say hi and hang out for a little bit. So it's become like our special spot to hang out and get to know each other, and it's so much fun. We are there literally all the time. If you want to look for us in the morning, go to the Riviera Resort because most likely we are there. Now I need to tell you about one of our favorite spots in all of Disney World, and that is Baseline Tap House. This is a great spot where we like to come and relax, take a break from the crowds for the day. If you just need a moment to sit down, have a nice beverage, a nice charcuterie board. They have some of the best charcuterie in all of Disney World. It's the best bang for your buck. We think it's amazing. We love it here. We love all of the different drinks you can try. It's tucked away on Grand Avenue right next to Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. Also, for those of you not interested in alcohol, they do have a great hibiscus soda here as well. Breedlove loves it. He raves about it. And you can get refills on it. So check that out as well. And I've also got to tell you about another lounge that we love to hang out in, and that is TuneIn Lounge right next to 50's Primetime Cafe. This is another hidden, tucked away lounge that most people don't even know about. The entrance, I mean, there's a huge sign outside, but for some reason people don't see it. They don't think to come in. But this is a bar and lounge right next to the restaurant. You can order a bunch of drinks. There's even a peanut butter and jelly cocktail. They've just got a lot of great drinks to choose from and great bartenders as well. Dustin has a lot of friends over there, and he's introduced us to them, so shout out to the bartenders at TuneIn Lounge.
That's all the tips I have for you today. If there were any that you think I missed, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and now go watch Dustin's Perfect Day, which does involve a lot of Hollywood studios. See you there.